Hi everyone, this is Chandan. Today we are going to learn about some additional topic, how we can play with the pandas efficiently. So first, it's a kind of tips for pandas. So there is a first point, which is right cleaning and efficient code. So today we are going to see that how we can use that efficient code. So first is use vectorize operations. So when we are doing a multiple loop and using some operations, so that times we can perform that vectorize operations. So it will perform efficiently. And built-in functions which are optimized for performance. For example, instead of using a loop to add two columns, use Python's like column A and column B, we can add and create that column third, and it's happen with it will sum all the values, and like 4 and 1 it becomes 5, 3 2 and 5 it comes 7, and so on. So like that we can perform that vectorize operations. Okay. And we also need to avoid that chaining index. So chaining index can lead a unpredictable result. So when we are performing some chaining index, at that times performance becomes very low. So like that, suppose we need to filter those data which value is less greater than 1. So it will become one data frame, and then we are performing that, selecting that B data sets. So instead of doing this, we can do like this. First, we can apply that filter operations and then also select that B column, and it will print that result. So like that, we can perform that. So I'm not going to run all the codes. It's very simple codes. I already explained and these basic filter operations. So I'm just overview giving to you guys. So to optimize data types, we need to provide appropriate data types to manage memory and improve the performance. So when we dealing with a large data set or big data set, that times we need to provide only a specific data type. So the data types should be a perfect memory for that allocations. So we can convert that column data types, and we can also see the data types by printing like that. And as type is convert the data types. Use efficient file format for large data set. So like instead of loading the CSV or Excel files, load the Parquet files and export the Parquet files, which is very efficient to load, and it is also a compressed format. So it will be very good while uploading and downloading the data, or while parsing the data. So it will help to process in very efficiently. And we also need to optimize and organize the codes. So we need to properly comment the codes and write clean codes and group that codes so anyone can easily understand and add some functionality on the code. So in the Python, there is a Docker string function, and class which describe the purpose and uses of that function. So like that we can perform that docker string by 3 double quotes, and we can give that all the functions definitions, whatever we are going to do in the functions, whatever the parameters inside it, and what the functions returning that. Correct. And we need to break down the codes. We do not need to write a very large number of lines of code. So that times we can break down using a function, so we can easily debug and fix the code whenever the issue will raise. And there is a adding column of A and B. Okay. And we also need to, whenever we are writing some Python code, we need to follow the Puppet guidelines, which is a standard for Python, to read the writing and cleaning the readable code. Additional best practice: understand your data. So to understand the data, Pandas give multiple functions which info, describe, head, to look up a few records from the top, or we can also give the value inside a head function, so that number of records will give that. And there is also a tail functions which show the last records. By default, head or tail return that 5 records only. Okay. Handle missing data. So we already learned about how we can handle the missing data using fill in, drop in, additional, all the things we already covered. Avoid iterations. So we do not need to write a for loop. We just need to apply inbuilt functions. So suppose here we are applying lambda functions, row 1 and row 2, and adding that. Correct. So using the apply functions, we are creating a new column, and to efficiently load the data, we can use that chunk. So chunk size we can provide, and that many chunk will be created for that files, and so we do not need to get the bottleneck of memory. So whenever the memory size will less, that times memory sufficient error will become or raise. So that times we need to give that chunk size, and one chunk we can process, and then next chunk will be processed. Like that we can do. We always need to group by an aggregation to efficiently data aggregation. So when we grouping the data, that times the values, some aggregation function will be performed efficiently, and we can also join, merge, like that. So that's all about that additional topics. I hope it will be helpful, or you can get some idea to play with and learn more from the tutorial. Thanks for watching. That's all.